Yeah.
Well, we're live now, so
There we go.
I believe the mics are dead, but I can't.
All right. Well,
really...
let's just be careful though what we say.
Actually, if someone wants to bring it up on their second screen.
Oh, true. Where's the link for this thing?
It's in go Rimfire Nation on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we have 0 viewers anyway on right now. And that could be
nice.
a flat.
I didn't know there was a page for this already. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's automatic.
Oh, that's you. You're the viewer, Matt.
You're the one.
I can hear myself.
Oh,
I can hear myself. We can hear it.
so we'll have to be quiet
then. Oh, that's boring. Who wants to be quiet?
Oh, geez, we got 8 people. I'm pretty sure that the audio is supposed to be dead during the beginning.
I can definitely hear it.
Okay.
There is a delay though, about 30 seconds or something.
Okay.
Matt, we just got to come up with a 5-minute video that.
Yeah, that we can play in replace of this.
Yeah,
just like some really, really hardcore music,
Yeah. Like super epic music and us just running crazy stages.
The clicks of the turrets, is that a sound effect to the video or somebody's playing with?
Sounds like a Minox. Is that a Minox?
You're sharp with Thomas. I wondered.
There, I got turrets here too.
Well, I got no turrets.
Yeah, these aren't as nice as the Minox.
Careful with the rules on YouTube. We don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah, exactly. It's not on a rifle, just to be clear.
There you go.
There could be no audible turret sounds in the background.
It was actually the IOR.
We got like 19 people.
Cool.
Watching grass blow in the wind.
It's like a full classroom.
No kidding. Like,
so
I don't know
means
who's worse.
19 people out there that must be bored silly tonight.
Yeah. They don't know what they're in for, man.
People are excited about this stuff.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Well, can you blame them? It's Rimfire.
That's right.
That's right. The biggest little bang you've never heard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's honestly like anybody that. Like I got started in
Kevin.
PRS. Like I did 2 matches before I did Rimfire, and all the guys that introduced me to PRS, I started telling them about this Rimfire stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm shooting a 22 at 300. They're like, no way, I don't believe you. They're like, I swear, like.
Yeah, and then send them the 1,000 yard video.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like so many of them don't. I mean, now it's different. It's popularized itself quite a bit in the last 2 years, but 2-3 years. But at the time, I mean, 3 years ago, it was 22 long range was just brand new.
Did I tell you about that time I bought my first Diamondback Tactical from Cabela's, and the guy actually tried to stop me when I told him what gun I was putting it on?
What?
Yeah, he was like, "What are you putting this on?" I was like, "Oh, it's a little 22." He's like, "No, trust me, son. Like this is too much scope for your gun. You don't want this." I was like, "Yes, I do."
I get a lot of comments at the range when people see Jeremy with the little gray birch that's behind me, and that, especially since I keep the sunshade on it, it looks bigger than the gun.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, maybe I need a sunshade.
Yeah.
Sunshades for me are just more real estate than stickers.
That's true. This is true.
That's the
All right, guys, we're 40 seconds out. 10 seconds too. I'll kick off the video and then we'll go live.
Yes, sir.
This is more exciting than the New Year's countdown.
Yeah, I'm usually asleep for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like what's the New Year's countdown?
All right. 8 seconds to showtime.
Right. Catch you on the other side, guys. Hey guys, it's Rick from Canadian Rimfire Precision Series. Welcome to the episode 1, the inaugural introduction to this series of podcasts intended to dispel the myths, the rumors, and basically help you get started in Canadian Rimfire Precision Series events and other rimfire competitions around Canada. I am joined by an esteemed panel of friends and co-hosts and match directors and basically the CRPS staffers. So as I said, I'm Rick. One of the, I guess I am the founder, not one of the co-founders. I am the founder of the Canadian Rimfire Precision Series, and we're going to go around and let everyone else introduce themselves. Over to you, Thomas.
All right. Well, my name is Thomas. Some of you guys probably know me. I have the distinguished privilege of being a match director for ORPS at the Stittsville Range in the Ottawa area. And I've hosted the CRPS last year out of necessity, really, but it was a great experience. So that, I guess that's me. Over to you, Matt.
Okay, yeah. Hey, I'm Matt. Some of you may know me from my YouTube channel, Womfat. I've been shooting Precision Rimfire just over a year now, and I was lucky enough to meet some of these guys last year through shooting the matches, and it just so happens now that I'm helping Rick out kind of behind the scenes for 2021.
Actually, you're in front of the scenes.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm in front and behind the scenes everywhere. Whoever needs help, basically. So
there you go. We need the help.
Yeah.
Hey, John, how about
John's
you, man?
next, I think.
Yeah.
Hey guys, John here. I think a few of you have met me. I do the Palmerston match. Got into this a year and I'm not sure exactly when. Really by accident. I think Rick needs to do more advertising because I was searching for matches and guess what I found? Anyhow, I'm hooked and I do the stats and track the scores throughout the year for the leaderboard.
And occasionally run matches as well. Some awesome matches.
Occasionally.
Yeah. Yes. Occasionally. Kevin.
All right, I think that leaves me here. So my name's Kevin. Nice to meet you. I'm also an Ottawa shooter, and I've been doing CRPS ever since the first ever one in Petawawa 3 years ago. It's been a really great go, and essentially what my role is going to be here on the CRPS volunteer team is to help with the match loaner rifle program to get data and make sure that whatever information we give the users is as accurate as it can be.
That's awesome. And thank you guys for volunteering. It is appreciated. I literally could not have survived the year without you guys. So thank you very much. As the series keeps growing, the work just keeps piling up and my wife is getting angry with the amount of nights I stayed in my little office crunching emails and checking my Facebook and everything else. So it's appreciated. So why are we doing this podcast? I think the biggest reason, and 2 years ago, it was okay. There was only a couple of guys. We weren't trying to grow anything. We were just out to have some fun. But now as we grow and as we add more series, there's a lot of information that we see in the Facebook groups. At least, everyone's asking the same questions over and over again. And we think we had a good enough. Well, I was hoping that the website would have been good enough and that people would read through the Facebook post, but it's tough. So we launched a podcast basically just to archive all of the information we're going to deliver so that we can say, hey, if you want to know what it's all about, go to episode 1. If you want to know about getting started, go to episode 2. If you want to know whatever, it'll be on episode 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to keep going as long as we've got things that need to be answered. When we run out of stuff, then we'll stop. But at least we'll have those episodes for folks to look back on and basically just answer the questions they might have. So the first item of business is I want to thank our friends at Tesro for their generous sponsorship of the series. Oh, look at that. We got fancy graphics and everything. So Asmir and Miriam, thank you very much. I know you guys are excited about podcasts as well. So we're going to have Asmir on the podcast in a couple of weeks to talk about his background. And the cool part about Asmir is he was there from the very beginning, like a lot of our sponsors were. Just got excited about rimfire long range shooting and said, hey, whatever you want, let's do it. He comes from a small bore shooting background. So I think that's where he met Miriam as well. So there's there's small bore and shooting in how that whole family got together. So Tesro is a family run business. Services is number one, and he's also a good friend. So that's awesome that you can meld those two together, and a tremendous sponsor. And actually, he donated the CZ rifles that are kind of the foundations for our match rifle loaner program that's going to drive the mentorship throughout 2021 and for the years to come. So visit Tesro.ca for your sampler packs if you're trying to figure out what ammo you need. So we talked about the team. I think we probably should cover kind of the history of CRPS, kind of how we got to this point. For those that don't know, I'm also one of the co-founders for Project Mapleseed, which is a civilian marksmanship instruction program that basically hosts one-day marksmanship instruction events across Canada. So 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, it started with our first events in Kingston. I think the first event was. And our goal was to basically teach people how to shoot in the various positions, standing, seated, kneeling, and prone, basically teaching you all the fundamentals and kind of how to put it together. So that was kind of where I got my start into setting up events, being part of a team, and basically helping others kind of enjoy the shooting sports. As that program kind of took off and as we started becoming more and more successful and getting some traction, one of our early sponsors was Korth Group, who donated a Ruger 1022 and a Leupold VX Freedom scope that kind of got us started with our loaner program for Mapleseed. And Adam Patterson basically said, "Hey, did you guys ever think about doing competitions?" And yeah, so that's cool, but it's not really in what Project Mapleseed's all about. They're kind of all about instruction. I said, "Well, let me think about it." And then so I started thinking about that and said, "You know what? If it's going to happen, someone's going to have to do it, and why not?" So I started doing some research, and I think NRL 22 had already started, but they were only going out to 100, and 100 is nice, but it doesn't really add that fear factor of a full distance, PRS match where you're going out to a kilometer. So I did some, back of the napkin calculations and looked at and say, well, a 308 at 1200 is probably equivalent ballistically to a 300 meter, 400 meter shot with a rimfire. So that's kind of how kind of the long range CRPS match kind of evolved around the scaling down the ballistics of a 308 down to a 22, and then coming up with what's a difficult shot for a 308. Let's turn that into a difficult shot with a 22. And that's kind of how those ranges kind of started about. So we had a good Project Mapleseed buddy, Corey Johnson, who lives in Lac La Biche, Alberta right now. Used to live in Woodview, Ontario. I think there was some miscommunication. He thought I was just going to come over and shoot some steel at his place. I ended up inviting 12 or 16 of my long range buddies. I think Ryan McLean was there, Ken Thiessen was there, Brian Bolivar, Barney Go was there. There's a whole bunch of us kind of went. Andrew Vincent, Gavin, Tim, the whole bunch of just guys I knew and some Mapleseed guys, and we basically kind of did a test run of some long range steel on Corey Johnson's property to see if the barricades were right, if the steel mix was right, and what we needed to add. And it looked like it was going to go. And then I got connected with Jonathan Jalbert from Gong Joe Targets and say, "Hey, John, we're coming up with something new." And Gong Joe had been a big supporter of the CFB Valcartier long range shooting, so he'd been providing steel for them. Actually, I saw his prizes on the table. And that's kind of where I said, "Hey, I need a steel guy." So I talked to Jonathan. And he said, "Well, we just need thinner steel. I'm lazy. It's lighter. It's smaller. So it's going to be a lot easier for everyone." He said, "Sure, whatever you need, just let me know." And for us, steel was going to be the budget was going to be $4,000 for steel. I said, "Whatever you want, whatever you need, just let me know. And it's yours." And that's kind of what really kicked it off. Without him, we wouldn't have that first year running because we just had no money. And then our very first match was in Owen Sound. It was the CRPS Invitational. And as luck would have it, it was in the middle of a snow squall. It was just complete whiteout. I think there's still some footage from who else was there? There was a bunch of guys. Jason Horn was up there filming True North Outdoors, I think. He did a little segment in the middle of the blizzard, and he was doing some interviews. So that's kind of where it got started. And then I think we had 6 matches that first year. And then we'd already said, okay, well, we want it to be a Canadian series because we had Canadian Rimfire. And we had because of Mapleseed, I already had range contacts across Canada. So it was easy for me to reach out and say, hey, we're doing something new. How about we tack on this weird thing called long range rimfire? And then we started having events across Canada. So year one, we had 6 events, and then connected with Sparta Pewter, Greg Susi. I don't know if you guys all know Greg Susi.
Yeah.
He's got a business in charge, basically selling, pewter goods and merchandise to U.S. military and law enforcement all around North America. So it was a natural fit to say, hey, let's have some nice medals, because we made it real. And then it's been growing since. And so it's really kind of kicked off from there. And we've been growing probably double every year. So 6 to 10 now. We had 15 last year. This year, with all the different series that we'll get into, it's really taken off. So I think, how did you guys first get into shooting these matches?
It was accidental. I didn't know anything about firearms really. And a friend of mine mentioned he was getting into hunting and all this stuff. So I picked up a 22 with the idea of rabbit hunting. And next thing I knew, I show up at the range with a scope in a box and a rifle in the other hand. And I clearly did not look like I knew what I was doing. The guy next to me, Chris Ward, said, hey, you need any help? Yeah. And we started talking about rimfire. And he said, hey, I'm hosting a match. I don't know. I think it was the following Saturday or something. So I just showed up. We shot it, and I've been hooked ever since. So that's been precision rimfire has been my introduction to
Nice.
To rimfire.
Nice.
Those bunnies?
Sound and safe. They live in my backyard, actually.
It's funny how you start with one goal in mind and you go on a bunny trail.
We got sidetracked.
That's funny. Yeah, you went down a rabbit hole, but a different one.
and now you're running matches.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's fun.
I personally looked into other shooting disciplines because I wanted to take shooting a little bit more seriously. Like before, I was just taking my guns out to the range just to blast some lead and have fun. But I wanted to try and take a certain discipline more seriously. But other ones were just very expensive to try and upkeep, like IPSC, obviously. So I looked into rimfire, and I watch a lot of YouTube, if you don't know that. And precision rimfire just looks so fun. Like it's basically like the center fire stuff. So I just looked online for NRL 22 clubs, and Stittsville at the time was still on the website, and that's how I got in contact with them. So yeah, and then I started with ORPS, and I'd have to say, to be honest, like you start the matches because you want to shoot a match, but you stay. A big part of staying is the community. Just the people that shoot these matches are fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So a lot about the people for sure. Yeah,
That's the best part. I mean, that's the only reason I'm still doing this.
yeah,
Because I get reconnected with all my buddies all across Canada, which is awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
How about you, John?
For me, it was a bit of Google, and this outlaw rimfire thing came up. So I went to Guelph. Rod hosts the. I think Rod, yeah.
Yeah.
He hosts the matches there. I've never been a part of a club. I can shoot out back here, so why would I be part of a club? Never been to one before, and had no idea who I was going to meet. So yeah, who knows? But you got to try stuff, right? And the biggest thing that stood out to me was the people. It was very interesting how you could show up a complete stranger. They've never seen you before. And everyone was very welcoming. It's like, this is how it works. This is what we do. And you're part of the gang. And then I shot, I think, three outlaw matches before shooting my first CRPS, and I would definitely recommend that. Shoot a few outlaw. That gets the concepts in your head, and then just give her and go for the CRPS. You'll never look back.
All right, I think that leaves me. So I mean, I got into CRPS in 2018 on the first year. I had shot. Some friends had just got me into full center fire PRS. I had shot 2 matches. The weekend after a match, I somebody called me up and said, "Hey, there's a Rimfire match." I didn't even have a 22. This was the week before, so I went in and bought a 22. I bought a Cabela's Covenant scope. I put some rings on it. I went out and found a field. I was allowed to shoot on it, and I got everything I needed. I shot the first match, and I haven't shot a center fire match since, because honestly, Rimfire is just so much fun. So
it's the lack of brass prep that I just love. It's like you can decide.
Ear Pro, you don't have to have 2 muffs on. You can only have 1 set. I mean, it costs less. You're not bothering the neighbors. You can shoot 200 rounds and it doesn't cost you $400. Like, the list goes on,
Yeah.
And
awesome.
it's not like you just get a couple of matches a year. Like, if we look at this year, if you compare to just PRS, like, how many options are we going to have this year?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm going to get every match shot.
No, exactly.
There's no way. You just.
Well, it's awesome. I love the new series. I love Northern Rimfire series coming up, which means I can just go and just shoot, which is awesome. I could just be one of the regular guys and just hang out and there's a problem. Someone fix that.
Now you can be that guy.
I could be that guy. I could be contesting. Hey, that's clearly a target failure. That's a prop failure. Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. Thanks to Ryan and Adam for starting that up, which is awesome. Which, the best thing that can happen about this is I do less match directing and get more people with their creative ideas and their twisted ways of testing people's ability to generate stable positions. That's why I love shooting, other people's matches, like John Thomas and Ron Sharp setting up their matches, and obviously Chris Tischler and Warren Fields setting up their CRPS matches, which is awesome. And that's kind of the model going forward is hopefully what we're doing here is showing people, hey, you guys can do this. We're really just kind of trying to generate that initial spark to get folks into the mindset of, hey, CRPS is there to help you get started, but don't look for us. If you guys want to run this, there's no big deal. You've already seen all the possibilities of what you need to do. So hopefully that inspires people to just keep going, and maybe I'll be able to just come up and shoot matches and just critique like one of those armchair quarterbacks at the end of the day. But it's fun. So yeah, it's cool. Any comments before we get into the major topic, which is kind of what are all the different events we've got out there? And there's a bunch now. So no, everyone's good.
Let's roll with it.
So far, so good. All right. So let me share. We're gonna. So this is brand new here. So actually, no. The first thing we need to do is thank our sponsors. So these are the guys that really have stepped up and provided us with equipment, and kind of the whole thing of us connecting with people. Say, wow, you got a lot of sponsors, and you guys must be rolling in money. Our goal is, so we're a registered nonprofit. We want to end the year with $0, and most of the time we ask for product from our sponsors to give back to the people that show up, because we know dollars are hard to come up with. And if you guys can walk away with something nice from the prize table, that makes me happy, and hopefully that drives you into shooting better, having more fun, and just bringing everyone into the matches. So I want to thank Vortex Canada. They stepped up huge the last couple of years. They're the title sponsors for the Outlaw Rimfire and the new Rimfire Race Gun series, and a platinum sponsor for all of the CRPS family of events. Ely has been there from the very beginning. They provide ammunition for us to just basically put on the prize table, and they're also going to be putting ammo in for the match rifle loaner and mentorship program. So we'll be we haven't received it yet. We understand that it's on a pallet somewhere on its way to us. So we'll be using a different brand for the beginning, but eventually we'll switch over to Ely when that comes. Obviously, we talked about Guangzhou already. We couldn't have done it without them. Tesro, Asmir and Miriam, basically from day one, saying, yeah, let's make this happen. Canada's Gun Store is a new sponsor for us this year. They're the title sponsor for the X22 Challenge series. They're just about to launch their online retail store. They've got over $1 million worth of inventory just sitting there. And when they launch, we'll make sure we help them get started with a big splash. Modular Driven Technologies. If you ask people on the line to name one chassis they've seen, they're most likely going to say MDT. The ACC is probably the most popular chassis out there, right? Oh, there's John and his pimped out ACC, and if you there's of this panel, there's guys who have it and those guys who want it, right?
Exactly.
And next one
is want more.
And want more, yeah, because three's not enough, John. Gray Birch Solutions, another great sponsor. Basically started up a whole 1022 receiver and barrel and accessories manufacturing out of Ontario. So they're producing some pretty hot stuff for the 1022. They've got the built-in 20 MOA rail, the 0 MOA, and the flat top, which is perfect for rimfire race gun. So you'll see some of their belts throughout the year. And then Athlon Optics also been a good sponsor. We worked with Scott Gallus in the very beginning and Jerry Teo as Athlon was just starting up, and now they're a fixture at our event. Certainly, they're the fastest growing optics vendor we've seen. Obviously, Vortex is still number one in terms of just. I mean, you saw the stats last year, John. Vortex. When you looked at the Vortex Diamondback tactical bar, it was probably 90% of
starter package.
Yeah, the starter package.
There was no wondering whose optic is picked first.
Yeah. And then Go Big Tactical joins us this year as the title sponsor for the CRPS Sniper Series, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So thanks to these guys for everything they've done to make the events so much fun for people. It's nice to walk away with a rifle or a patch or something else that put a smile on your face and give you a good remembrance of the day you shot with some good friends in that blistering snowstorm the day after. So awesome. So let's start. So what are we doing? So CRPS, so when we started, it was primarily just a long range event, which is basically 100 meters to 350 meters, which is physically taxing, and it's equipmently taxing. Is that a word? I don't know. What's another way for saying that? It tests your platform, right? And having it all together and the knowledge you have. So that really, you've got to have it all working to do really well. But again, it doesn't mean you can't have fun if you don't have all that, which, I don't do very well at competitions, but I certainly have a great time just shooting with guys. Part of me is 80% the squad I'm with and 20% making hits on steel. So the two kind of events now that kind of we're falling into, there's the series run event. So that's a CRPS match director run event. So we create the course of fire and we run the matches, and then we travel from event to event and host it. Then there's the monthly club run events. So those are the Outlaw Rimfire Precision Series. Those are the ones that your club can say, hey, I want to run this event this month. Sign me up. What do I need to do? And then we'll give you everything you need, and you can run it wherever you are. So as we go through that, so the series run events is a Canadian Rimfire Precision Series, which again is kind of the anchor of this whole shooting. I'm going to call it the shooting empire, right? It's really the jewel in the crown, which is the traditional long range PRS style event. So it's the grandfather. Then we added an X22 Challenge Series, and we'll get into greater detail. The X22 Challenge Series, then the CRPS Sniper Series, and then a variation on that Sniper Series, which is the Extreme Sniper Series. So what does that mean? So as we go through it, and then the monthly club run stage events are Outlaw Rimfire, and then the new one, which is Rimfire Race Gun. So those are the two. Oh, and props to Matt and Dory for that fabulous Race Gun Series sticker and logo and medal also. And he was also part of the Sniper Series. So what is Canadian Rimfire Precision Series? So the title sponsor is Ely. The distances we cover is 100 meters to 350 meters plus. And depending on the match director, sometimes we'll go farther than 350, but it's you have maybe one or two stages that go past 300 meters. Really, you can completely miss those targets and still do very well. You might not win, but you can still do very well if your 250 meters and in game is on point, which means you've got to have the fundamentals and you have to know kind of what's going on there. So these are time stages. Typically, the stages are 2 minutes in duration. There's always 1 to 5 steel targets that are out there. So the KYL rack will have 5 targets. Know your limits, which is kind of a descending sized rack of targets. kind of test your nerve and your ability to keep it all together. Typically shot from barricades or props, so it's kind of testing how quickly you can get into position and maintain a stable position while engaging those targets. And typically it's 125 to 150 rounds per day. So on a normal event, it's a one-day event. For the regional championships, so like the Western and the Eastern or the Maritime, you'll have 2-day events, and basically it's double the number of stages. So depends, as we get later into the season, we do 8 stages instead of 10 because night comes pretty quick. And those are a ton of fun, and that's kind of the original CRPS. And I think all you guys like these events, right? This event.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So who likes ORPS more? Anybody like ORPS more?
You're putting me on the spot here.
No, it's called saying what you feel.
I love them both the same for different reasons.
Yeah.
it's like talking
exactly.
about your kids.
Yeah. It's not your kids about it. It's just a game. It's
When are they
CRPS.
coming out with CRPS 1 kilometer, Rick?
Also, so you're laughing. So I'm in the process now. So what we're talking about is King of Point 2 miles. So that's the official
nice.
name of the event.
That's right.
So we're working with a potential title sponsor now. So we're just nailing down the final conversations around the equipment that we need to make it happen. So I'm hoping to have 2 demo events this year. So typically before we roll out a series, we'll do a demo event. So we're going to have a King of Point 2 miles event in the East and one in the West. And it's going to be wrapped around kind of a Rimfire Nation demo weekend. So we're going to bring all the different events together, and then we'll have ELR practice, and then we'll have a mini fun match on day 2. That's what's going to happen. And we're going to have some big steel. So Gongjo's already got the steel. I've got the steel in my truck. We've got 24 by 24 square, 36 square, and a 48 square for the. So 0.2 miles is 352 yards. So the close targets will be 352, and the far targets will be double that 700-yard target. That's kind of the logic how it kind of happened. So stay tuned for that. We'll put a post out there for those that subscribe. Actually, that's one thing. If anybody listening is out there wants to stay connected, on our website at the very bottom there's a subscribe for update and news and events. Type it in there, hit subscribe, and then we'll send you an email when things happen or things are about to pop. That's the best way to stay connected. So the next event is the X22 Challenge Series. So this one is actually one of my favorites because it kind of breaks, because I suck at shooting PRS style for whatever reason. I can get lucky every now and again, but there's something about it that I just can't keep it together the whole match. The X22 Challenge, I'm hoping, is going to be the one that's going to be the winning formula for me because it's many different disciplines all rolled into one event. So what do I mean by that? So there's going to be 2 long-range PRS events. And there's actually going to be 2 out of the 4 PRS skill stages. So these stages are already out there in the interwebs as PRS skill stages. We're just going to scale it down. So we're going to use the same prop, relatively the same size targets. We're going to scale it down. We're going to scale the distance down, but the coursifier is going to be the same. So if you practice those 4 PRS skill stages, you'll know what's going to happen when you show up at Next 22 Challenge Series. And those two long range stages are going to be 2 of those 4. So that's pretty easy. So that's your long range skill. Can you shoot long range? The next 2, so we're going to have 10 stages. So the next 2 are the 2 short range ORPS. So these are going to be using the standard props, and the props for ORPS are 6-foot step ladder, 55-gallon drum, 5-gallon bucket, 3 milk crates, 4 tires, sawhorse, and a folding chair. Out of that, you'll see, it's going to be between 25 and 100 yards. So that'll be pretty straightforward. The guys that have shot ORPS will know exactly what they need to do. All right. The next one is new. So this is the silhouette steel stages. So we've taken the NRA 1/5 scale silhouette steel targets. So there's four animals typically: chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rams. So these are all shot standing. Use a sling, don't use a sling. It's entirely up to you. Chickens are at 40, pigs are at 60, turkeys are at 77, and rams are at 100 meters. We're going to take 2 of those. So maybe it's chickens and turkeys or chickens and rams. Who knows? It's going to be 2 of those 4. It's going to be fun. So this is where the positional. So the guys that hate shooting standing, they're going to hate these 2 stages. But hopefully people will practice. Right. And again, there's a lot of steel. I know that Pat Robitaille and Gongjo are selling silhouette steel sets, so hit them up for your practice sets. I think they also have like sets that have one of each animal as well for not too much money. And it's a blast. I shot a silhouette fun match at Sherwood Park last year, and that kind of cemented the idea of, we're going to make this happen. And it's fun, right? And we're going to keep the same, we'll talk about the divisions later when we cover the individual series. But that's cool. You can shoot a Mapleseed style with a sling or regular silhouette style without the sling. The next two are the Rimfire race gun stages, which is up close steel challenge. So this is where you're basically stand and deliver. You've got 1 to 7 steel targets, 10 meters to 25 meters, and there's different sizes. And basically you are shooting against the clock. How fast can you hose these targets in the right sequence while hitting the stop plate to stop the time? And then we'll talk about that. So that's really just how fast can you go. And then the last two are 2 scored paper targets, kind of the accuracy stage. Okay, so you're fast, you're good at hosing targets fast, but can you do well against scored paper? So it's bullseye shooting at this point, right? So now you get a sense where the X22 challenge is having kind of that broad range of, I'm going to go long, I'm going to go short and fast, or I'm going to go slow and steady. So this is really I call this kind of the Canadian Top Shot Challenge. And we call it X22 because it's really built around the semi-auto 1022 platform. And when we cover the divisions in the subsequent episodes, we'll do deep dives in each of these in subsequent episodes, maybe, one per episode, and then we'll go roundtable for just general chit chat session around that. It's built around semi-autos, really. That's the advantage. Jack of all trades, exactly. It's gonna be a hoot, and hopefully everyone steps up for that. So Canada's Gun Store is the title sponsor for that. They are going to be providing some nice prizes for all the winners, as well as some cool props for us to be using throughout that event. What else is there? Any words of advice? Nope. Anyone? So it doesn't have to be a 1022. I'm just going to quickly through the divisions. There's the stock, which is any stock Ruger 1022. There's the open, which is any modified Ruger 1022. There's the unlimited, which is any non-Ruger 1022 pattern rifle. So all of the gray birches, all of the Taxols, all of the Delasks, those are all in the unlimited. And then there's a final division, which is outlaw. Any 22 long rifle firing rifle can join in. So
including those bolt actions.
Yeah, if you have a bolt action, if you have a single shot, whatever you want, if you just want to have fun, go for it. And the nice part about this is each one of these you can see your scores for silhouette, because these are effectively going to be mini matches all combined into one giant match. So you can see who won the silhouette, you can see who won Rimfire race gun, you can see who won the scored paper. So it's going to be a blast. I think that's the one that is going to hopefully light the fires in someone else. And typical CRPS, each of these are going to be its own series next year. So we're going to have a silhouette series next year. We're going to have Rimfire Precision is what that paper target is going to be called. We're not going to call it bench rest. It's going to be Rimfire Precision series. So paper punching. And that's nice too. Not everybody likes to get into those awkward PRS positions. I know John's been practicing all year, has been limbering up. So, but some of us older guys just want a more sedentary shooting lifestyle. So that's the X22. The sniper series, this kind of shifts away from the traditional, more into the military tactical style shooting. This is where we're looking at, so what's the difference? So why do a sniper series? So a lot of people don't like the goofy PRS barricades, right? Like it's unrealistic. I'm never going to shoot off a whatever. So typically the sniper series is built around kind of a field match. So we're using the natural features of the terrain as our firing points. The difference also is that all the targets are going to be unknown distances. You're not going to get a course of fire ahead of time. You're not going to know how many targets there are. You're not going to know how many, where they are until you get to the stage briefing just before you shoot. Okay, so that's the cool part. It's also a pairs competition. There's a sniper spotter pair that needs to team up and know how to work well together, right? And you'll get a 2-minute briefing. So the RO is going to walk you through the stage. You'll get 2 minutes to do your prep, and then you'll have 5 to 7, maybe longer, depending on the terrain, to basically find it, range it, and engage it in the prescribed sequence. And the sequence can be different between the sniper and the spotter. right? Or first shooter, second shooter. It's entirely up to you guys to decide who's first and second, but it's going to be entirely up to you to figure out where it is, engage it properly. And you're not going to get any coaching from the RO other than hit or re-engage, right? And that's going to be cool. The other thing is all the gear you're going to need for that day must be carried by your team throughout the whole day, right? So if you're a thirsty guy, you got to carry all your water with you. If you need lots of snacks, you got to carry it with you. All the ammo. You can't go back to the car. If you go back to the car, you're going to have to drop a stage or some penalty, right? Maybe you got to do laps. So that's really working on the communication between sniper and spotter and your ability to process data quickly, and also know that one of those stages, at least one of those stages, you're not going to be able to use a laser rangefinder. Vortex has provided milling spotting scopes with reticles in there. So you'll need to know how to mill using optics versus a laser rangefinder for at least one of those. And we're not going to make it awkward for you. It's going to be a 24 by 24 steel or a 12 by 12 steel, right? It's really, we're not going to go crazy. It's more of just getting your head in the game of, hey, I've got to figure out how far it is. Or you can use your own scopes. It's up to you. But for those that don't, we're going to have some stuff. So that's the sniper series. Oh, by the way, you guys have any questions on the X22? I forgot to stop for questions there. Any questions on the previous X22?
I got a question, Rick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I know someone's going to ask it. If you have a 1022 takedown, are you allowed to swap out the front end for different stages? Or
I look at that and said, is it the same rifle? Technically, it's not the same rifle.
Okay.
What's the rifle? The barreled action. I mean, if you wanted to, am I going to stop you? I'm not going to,
Yeah.
That's not why you're going to win.
Exactly. I think in
it could be why you lose though, but it's probably not why you're going to win.
Yeah.
But hey, if you want to bring a golf bag full of different barrels, that's fine. Yeah.
So I guess that answers the question I had. It's a one rifle event.
It's a one rifle, and we're also going to limit to one bag, one bipod. So the same bag. It's a practical shooting competition, right? It's not about the gear; it's about the shooter. That's the whole goal of it, right? And there's rules on the bipods as well. You can't bring those bench rest pods there. So if you look at the latest rule book that we've been working hard to maintain, it's trying to keep it within reasonable limits, right? But one bag, one bipod for the X22. And use a sling, don't use a sling, it's entirely up to you. Use a sling, it's better.
And no tripods.
If you know how.
Yeah, no tripods.
No tripods. No tripods. That's
Sorry, Kev.
That's the CRPS game. Yeah, so Kev's gonna have to learn how to shoot that.
They're so practical. Think of it. You know?
No, they gave you an unfair advantage. I can't keep up anymore.
It's not unfair because you can use one too, John.
I actually got one now. Thanks, Rick.
Oh, of course you do.
All because of Kevin.
I saw him using it though. He still needs some practice.
Oh,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was like Big Rick Lana in Campbell River last year, 2 years ago. I said, this because I always hated tripods. Tripods are stupid. What? And then I shot one. I said, oh my god.
No,
I said, got my photography tripod out of the basement. And said, this is my shooting buddy. And anytime I've placed well, it's because I was shooting it using a tripod. So I guess I'm just one of those guys that needs a technical crutch to overcome his marksmanship frailties.
You said that, but you were the first one to step up for that last stage at the Eastern Final and do it Mapleseed style, going downhill into the ravine.
That's right.
I think you do well without your tripod.
I'm all right. and of course, nobody else shot it freehand. Everyone had the tripods.
Yeah.
I'm just a sucker for punishment. So anyway, so that's the X22. Any questions on Sniper series? So no, it's a different game, right? You can use a tripod. You can lock it in. If you want to shoot off the tripod, you can shoot off the ruck. It's basically tactical shooting. You're out in the field. What do you have? You have a tripod. You have a ruck. Where are the targets? Typically you're going to have higher points on first round hits versus second and third round hits. So it's going to be stacked that way. So it's first round hits count more. It's going to be good.
I like the fact that you're providing those mill reticle spotting scopes, because when you announced the Sniper series, I automatically went online and started searching for fancy spotting scopes to buy. But
Yeah.
They're hard to come by.
So we've got Vortex has come through. So their Viper HD, they have eyepieces for them available in mill and MOA. Actually, I'm going to. So they donated two sets of mill, but they've also donated 2 sets of MOA for Mapleseed, because Mapleseed's doing our known distance events this year. So I'm just going to segue into Mapleseed for a second here. So Mapleseed's typically been taught on a 25-meter range, just because we eliminate ballistics and wind into the equation when we're teaching fundamentals. The next evolution of that is what's called known distance, where we actually take, how we use the scale targets, we make it bigger for the 100, less for 200, smaller for 300, and smaller for 400. Well, we actually are going to be shooting life-size targets at real distances, and that's kind of why we're going to have those spotting scopes. So I'm thinking to borrow their MOA eyepieces for our events as well, if the Mapleseed directors allow us. So the guys that want to shoot MOA and mill and MOA, can you mill an MOA, or do you have to MOA and MOA?
You got a MOA and MOA.
You got a MOA and MOA. Yeah. I'm just, people are rolling in their graves right now. So whatever it is you do with MOA measurement, that's what you'll do in with those eyepieces. So we'll get it covered. Any other questions on the Sniper series? No, sounds good.
I think it's definitely
the Sniper series.
It's getting a lot of attention in the comments there, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's I enjoy the shooting. So like PRS really appeals to me because I like shooting. But there's something about this that's very practical. When you're hunting, you don't choose the time and the place or how it's going to come down, right?
Yeah. And you got to find it.
You got to roll with how it's going to go and be ready for anything.
Exactly. So it's a perfect case. Sniper series stage 1, there's 3 targets, roughly 60 degrees, 78 degrees, and 103 degrees, right? And it's going to be a 12-inch, a 24-inch, and a 24-inch. Figure it out. Just like you're hunting, you got to say, okay, well, how far is it, right? So if you have a rangefinder, that's cool. But if you don't, let's say it's one of those stages, you're going to have to mill it, and then you'll engage it, right? And then your partner has to engage it in the reverse sequence.
Quick question, Rick.
Yeah.
Is it a team event all the way through?
For Sniper series?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be awarded based on the team performance, but you'll have props for it depends, because we have different engaging sequences from sniper to spotter, and we don't always control who goes first. Okay. Right. So it could be an unfair, but again, you'll have individual rankings as well as the team placements. So we'll be rewarding the team placements.
It's nice to bring in the team component, I think, in the communication between the two shooters. That's something that I think our other discipline needed. So it's nice to see that.
And there's a good question here. Are there divisions in Sniper series? So there are no divisions in the Sniper series. You shoot whatever you want to shoot, and you're all in the same. It's called Sniper series division. So there's no distinction between whether you've got a production or a open gun.
But I think for something like this, the rifle is going to play such a small part.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter anymore. It's the communication, the understanding your drop data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's it really boils it down to the purest form of the sport, which is where is it, how far is it, and then you're up, right? Mm-hmm. And you're trying to process all this as you walk up to it. You don't have your charts beforehand, right? You only heard 2 minutes ago how many targets and roughly where they are and who's shooting first. You got to decide, right? So.
And guiding the follow-up shot, that's non-trivial. That's an awesome challenge.
Exactly. So it's going to be a eye-opening. I look forward to watching it. I don't work well with others, so I if I could be my own player, that'd be the best case scenario for me. Actually, I probably
so will you have it set up that someone can shoot it solo if they wish, or if...
we'll be pairing them up. Typically, we're limiting it to that you've got doubles, and then people have reached out and said, hey, I'm solo. Anyone else looking for a partner? So we've already partnered people up already. So typically they'll say, hey, I'm interested in shooting the event. There's still space. Do you have any singles available? Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do know that some matches will allow singles to do it, but then
it's just harder.
basically you're shooting for the experience. It's
yeah. Like the demand is so great that I don't think we're going to have singles shooting it. I mean,
okay. Yeah.
The matches are sold out already. Pretty
Yeah.
much. So, but yeah. So that's Sniper Series. So the cool part is, wait, there's still more. So we talk about Extreme Sniper Series. So what is extreme about it? So everything is exactly the same, except you have a longer walk between stages, and you're also going to be camping overnight. And everything you need has to be carried with you throughout the 2 days, right? So that's what makes it extreme. Now, in the first year, we're going to allow a hardcore division and a non-hardcore division. So the hardcore division are the guys that are camping overnight, and the non-hardcore are those that are going to a soft, cushy hotel and coming up fresh. What the guys who are going to the hotel don't know is that the campsite and the first stages are probably 5 kilometers in. So your first walk in the morning is to the first stage, which is probably 5K. Don't tell anybody that, though. Oh, man.
So those that series is pretty much going to be limited to the West or Northern Ontario.
Correct. The which one? The Extreme?
The Extreme.
Yeah. So we've already got one Extreme Sniper Series event scheduled. It's at the Twisted Rooster Rifle Ranch in Saskatoon. So shout out to my buddy Rooster. Thank you, Rooster, for hosting. He's got some sick props out there that's going to be insane. We will be providing water. It could be stagnant water, but we will be providing water. Now we're going to take care of it. So we'll have EMS. We'll have water stations throughout the day. We're not here to kill you. We're just here to stress your skill sets. I have a line on a possible location in the Alberta Badlands. It's going to be the Battle of the Badlands. If COVID lifts, then we're definitely going to be booking a 2-day event out there. And then I am working with some buddies on a Northern Ontario Eastern event. So that'll be something to look forward to. And it's going to be awesome. And that overnight camp area is going to be a blast. Or people are just going to be sleeping. Who knows?
The smart ones will be sleeping.
Yeah. Well, wait. And there's some hardcore guys. So Kevin, speaking of hardcore guys sleeping, so weren't you the guy sleeping on a picnic table in Magneto One for the NRS?
It was a shooting table, so it's higher class than a picnic table.
But it was down to like -5, right?
Yeah, but I had a sleeping bag. I mean, I was equipped. It only had 2 millimeters of frost crusting over it when I woke up.
It was beautiful. I don't know how you did it, man. I was cold. Yeah. Anyway, I was impressed. I said, oh man. Yeah. I said, this guy's perfect for Extreme Sniper Series. It's going to be good. So any questions on that? So Extreme Sniper is really just a test of your mental and physical. So it's going to be longer walks between the stages and you're humping all your gear. So that's probably 30, 40 pounds, maybe more. Well, John's rifle's already just 30 pounds on its own with that 30-inch barrel, right, John?
Sure. We'll go with that.
Oh, you'll trim it down to 26.
Maybe a little bit more.
All right.
Yeah, we should mention Go Big though.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, they're sponsors for both the Extreme Sniper and the regular Sniper Series. So Tom has done a great job at coming up with some awesome prizes and support for us. So a lot of what we're trying to do is we're trying to get more shooters into the sports, and everything that we're doing this year is really driving the match rifle loaner program and the mentorship. And for those that don't know, if you are unsure about whether you have what it takes to shoot a match, we have a mentorship program that will outfit you with all the equipment you need and all the information you need, and a mentor who's an experienced shooter in CRPS. And and they'll walk you through the process. So Kevin and Matt are going to come up with the data tables and record videos on how to use all that stuff. So you'll be able to look at what goes into that. And they'll walk you through the whole process of safely shooting a match and focusing on what's important and ignoring what's not important. So if you're hesitating because you're not sure, reach out to me, info@rimfireprecision.ca, and say, hey, I want to sign up for a match. I have zero experience and I'd like some help. We'll put you on that mentor program, and we'll partner you up with a shooter and a platform. So depending on kind of what you're looking for, so we'll have TICAs and CZs, and we'll work on a couple of other special actions like Ribex and Voodoo are also providing some demo rifles as well. So that's going to be awesome. So again, don't let lack of experience stop you. Again, 3 years ago, no one had experience in this, right? The hot ticket back then was a Savage Mark II with a 24 power scope at the top end. And it's crazy. Because I was just looking through all the photos from that first event. It's like 1022, 1022, 1022, 597, 597. And it was a Savage 64 and a Mark II. Like, oh, maybe there was a CZ 455 on the line.
Or a Marlin.
Amazing. Or a Marlin. Marlin's shoot, man. 795s.
Yeah.
Marlin 795s.
Morgan's Marlin.
Morgan placed.
I know. Yeah.
He was top 3 with that Marlin 795. So
right.
It just goes to show you. It's not the rifle, it's the shooter. So that's a series run events. Now we kind of drift into the monthly club and range run events. So this is the ORPS and the Canadian Rimfire Race Guns. So why do this? So this is really for you guys to have as many shooting opportunities as you guys want to have. So what this is basically, we take care of all the heavy lifting for you. All you have to do is be there to greet the people, understand what the rules of the safety are, appoint ROs that are going to manage the different stages and tablets and score, and then we'll take care of the rest. So why do we do this? Because CRPS has there's only so many events a year that we can run, right? Physically, and also from a location perspective, we only need six to 10 matches per region to make it worthwhile. So New Brunswick is going to have their 6 to 10 events, the East, and then the West. That's really all you need, right? From there, we're going to be able to find the national championships. But people want more than that. So that's kind of where the Outlaw came in, which is your opportunity to refine your skills, build some skills, and try out what you want to use for CRPS when you want to go longer. And then Rimfire Race Guns, that same thing, which is a different take on it. So as we go through it, all our Rimfire Precision, the title sponsor is Vortex, and I think you guys saw how much love Vortex threw your way, with a prize pack. So every host gets a prize pack for each of the matches they host throughout the year, and I don't think we ran out of prizes last year. And they've been great. They asked us, what do you guys need this year? And we told them, and they were more than happy to provide it. And they're also sponsoring that Vortex Marksman Challenge, that monthly challenge. That's on our Facebook group, where we're going to randomly draw for some swag at the end of every month. But getting to the ORPS, or the Outlaw Rimfire Precision Series, so this is basically equivalent to NRL 22. So we actually use the same target. So if you want to run NRL 22, then you want to run ORPS, we said, let's use the same target dimensions. So you can run both if you want to in the same month. So the distances are fairly straightforward. It's 25, 50, 75, and 100 yards. So you only have a minimum amount of information you have to keep in your head. It's going to be 5 time stages, typically 2 minutes per, 1 to 4 steel targets. And again, it's kind of that training ground, or that refining your skills for CRPS, shooting from barricades or props or prone, or there's always going to be some positional aspect to it. And typically you're looking at 50 to 75 rounds per day. And it's done in half a day, Thomas.
Yeah, half a day. And I was going to touch on that because I've actually had a few guys that do the RORPS on a regular basis, and they did the CRPS, and at the end of the day, they're like, whew, they like the format, that shorter half day. The long CRPS thing is maybe not for everybody, but it's it comes every month, so it allows you to practice frequently. For a lot of us, that's essentially the only practice we get on steel and off the bench. I know our club, that's the only time you can sort of forget about the wall and set up a match. So it's a really nice opportunity. And at the end of the day, it's also a good group of friends that gets together every month. And, if we can get through this COVID thing, we'll get back to enjoying a meal after our matches.
That's true. That's the best part.
Yes.
It's all the trash talking that happens before, during, and after the events. Did you find that, John? Were you trash talking people when you were shooting your events?
No, I'm actually a really nice guy. I would never slam anyone, Rick.
That's awesome. That's perfect.
Not even about food.
We'll talk about that later. That was so funny.
I'd have to say too, the ORPS matches, I like them a lot, especially for newer shooters, because they also focus more on the fundamentals. You can't use like the tripod or bring 4 bags to the firing line. So I think it's a great place to learn, and the shorter distances, and really you only need to keep 3 numbers in your head for 50, 75, and 100. So you're all set. Not as much to think about. It's just a great place to learn.
Awesome. Also, if you guys are looking at essentials, so Matt started up the CRPS Basics series on his channel. The search for WOMFAT on YouTube, and it's kind of like the essentials. What essential gear do you need to bring? And he'll be adding different topics throughout the year to kind of help you guys, keep up with kind of what do you really need to focus on? What do you need? What's fluff? And then we'll cover technical stuff as well with the help of John, Kevin, and Thomas throughout the year. So stay tuned for those.
Hey, Rick, a quick note.
Yeah.
I see a good comment, and unfortunately, I don't see the names here, but somebody mentioned that ORPS is great for kids. ORPS is awesome for kids, but we've seen quite a few youth shooter at CRPS, and they perform quite well. Young little Lalonde there.
Some of them are too well.
Yes, give most of us a run for our money. So, but yes, bring your kids. They shoot for free, and it's safe and a lot of fun. I know my boy likes it a lot. I can't wait for the other one to grow up and join the ranks also. Yeah,
and Taylor's actually doing very well with a rifle he picked up from the prize table last year. That's even sweeter. So we always try and put a rifle on the table. So those are the kind of stories that we like to hear, that he wouldn't have had a rifle if he didn't pick it up off the table. So now he's got his competition rifle. Maybe I should have jammed up his bore a little bit so he's not shooting so well. Because I always say, where's Taylor? Where's Taylor? Oh shoot, he's above me.
Yeah, just look up.
just look up.
Thankfully, he's still in youth, so it doesn't show. It's not as obvious, right?
Yeah. That's true.
If you look at the stats, it's going to be grim.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about the stats on another episode. John's been doing some number crunching for. There's the shooter report card, which lets you track your progress throughout the year, match by match, so you can see kind of where you are relative to where you were last year, or where you are relative to the guys you really want to be better than. And it's always good to have some good-natured competition, because that's what drives everyone. Certainly, that's when I get onto competitive shooting. I always will say, one day I'm going to be there. One day I'm going to be there. I just need to do X, Y, Z and get to that point. And when you get there, it's what's the next milestone? So I think that's, some guys like that, some guys don't. The cool part about the sport is you can go as far, as fast, or be as aggressive as you want. Nobody cares. It's entirely up to you to have as much fun as you want, or be as competitive as you want. So
it was a humbling report card. Thanks for making us cry there, John.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you notice my name is never in the report card. See any stats?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty smart.
Fair, Rick.
Well, my head's never in the match, right? Because there's always so many things. So that's my excuse. I'm always got a million things.
I look at how many matches you shoot in a year, and I don't think that it's fair.
I think John has a point.
Yeah, I know, but only 25% of those rounds were good rounds. Like it takes me like 3 stages before I settle down, right? And when I do settle down, it's just something else is going wrong behind me, so it's not a good thing.
Think of the other 7 you had.
I know. Oh well. Yeah, hey John, if you want that unfair advantage, you could start up a series too.
I'm actually good. Yes, thanks. You're...
Hey, so I got to call you out for the guy that has probably spent the most time trying to get a Ruger Precision Rimfire to shoot.
It has no
If no one
style
has,
with it anymore.
if no one has seen that Ruger Frankenstein,
Ruger.
the Ruger rebar
Yeah.
rimfire, it's insane.
It's
We'll
Pull up a
post
photo of this.
You should post a pic on that on the Rimfire Nation page, just so people see it.
It's
Do you have it with you? You still
Yeah.
you haven't put it in a museum yet?
No.
So
Scrap price is going up.
So at the front of this thing, well, actually, you know what? Let me zoom in on you, John, and just hold that up. So for the folks that don't know, this is John's Ruger rebar precision rimfire. So he's actually, how did you attach that rebar to it?
Well, there's a flat bar in here. I just a couple of M-lock screws into the M-lock rail, and then I welded on its 15 mil rebar, and then I just cut off however much I needed until I had the correct balance. Which without the optic, it's just a little muzzle heavy, but that's how I was able to get this to balance where you would like it.
And you shot all that last year.
Yes, I did not have rebar on all of the year. I had just flat plates, but I couldn't get enough weight out the front, so I had to head out to the scrap pile.
And based on all this, where did you end up in the final year-end placement?
11th.
With the Ruger
With
rebar
a
precision
Ruger.
rifle. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Which,
Good on you, mate.
it goes to show, if, shall we say, that's all you have, don't be ashamed to come out and shoot, because I honestly don't think that the rifle is going to hold you back.
Yeah.
I didn't lose because of the rifle. I lost because of me. Well, lost, whatever. But yeah.
It's all on you. Your misses were
It is,
yours.
Unfortunately.
Listen, we all forget to dial. We all forget to open our scope caps multiple times. It happens.
It gets worse than that, Thomas.
Yeah. So the lesson I learned last year was 1, reset your turrets, and then 2, know left wind and right wind. Make sure you guys are talking the same. Saying it's right. Well, what right? Is it the wind's coming from the right, or am I holding toward right?
That's right.
Or whatever, right? Anyway, these are lessons you learn. So that's ORPS, and the last one is Rimfire Race Gun. So this is a new series this year. So really, this is a companion series for the guys that are running ORPS. So you could run ORPS half day, and then Rimfire Race Guns the other half. So you can have a full day. And how many of you guys have actually run Rimfire Race Guns? Any of you?
It's an ambitious goal to run them both in the same day.
No, like,
We got a big
just,
group. But,
how many of you have shot them? Thomas, you've shot them.
Yeah.
Kevin, Matt, you guys haven't shot it yet?
I haven't shot one yet.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So
Not official. In my
to
backyard.
my Stittsville buddies, come on, pick this up.
yeah, we call
It looks like a lot of fun.
I'm tapped
will
out.
say
I can't
Rimfire-
do more, but
Rimfire
So
Race
this-
Guns looks like a huge fun.
So when we get together to get those match rifles set up, I'll bring my big display board that we're going to use. Yeah, the GSG 16. Exactly. I'll post a picture of the GSG 16. Well, Kevin, you used to be part of the GSG 16 club until you
I sold
got rid
it.
of it. He sold it. Now this is perfect for it. So the Rimfire Race Gun is basically it's a stand and deliver. So you've got steel 10 meters to 25 meters. There's 1 to 6 of them, and it's you against the clock, right? And you basically got to shoot it in a sequence, and then you've got to hit the stop plate. So one plate is always painted red. That's your stop plate, and that stops time. So you get 5 consecutive runs at that stage, and then your 4 best times count for your stage score. So this is basically, in the IPSC world, it's a Holzer stage for all 5 stages, right? So the guy that's surprised, so the question is it handguns too? Yes, handguns too, if we are on a CFO approved range. So you can actually enter into the 4 different divisions. So it's rifle and pistol, and then you've got irons and optics. So you've got 4 different divisions, which is cool. And we'll get into that when we do a deep dive into each one. But really, it's how fast can you hit the targets in sequence. Basically, it's just trigger control and transitioning, right? Bing, 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 bing.
I think the race gun should be sponsored by an ammo company because they make out good on those.
It's
200.
It's 250 rounds approximately per match per division you shoot. So if you did all 4 and you were really bad at it, you'd blow 1,000 rounds in a day. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's addictive.
It is addictive. So that's Rimfire Race Guns, and it's sponsored by Vortex. So they provided a bunch of optics for us. They've got the Vortex Venom. They've got the Crossfire Red Dot. So we've got the small red dot, the Spark, and also the AMG. So I've got 3 or 4 different demos that we'll have available for folks to try out at Rimfire Race Gun events this year. And also we're going to put that onto the, speaking of Grey Birch Solutions, they've got that flat top where they've got just a flat plate. So it's a straight milled receiver where you can just bolt a red dot on. Perfect for their 12-inch carbon fiber barrel. And it's going to be awesome. So that's basically that's covering the different events. So if you want to know where and when, so there's a couple of different places for the series run events. They'll be on the rimfireprecision.ca/events. For the Outlaw Rimfire, they'll be on outlawrimfire.com, and rimfireraceguns.ca, I believe, is the website for Rimfire Race Guns. So folks haven't started signing up for that yet because we're still early in the season and we're in the middle of the COVID lockdown. So we expect that to open up when the nations start opening up. I know that Sherwood Park's got a Feb 27 ORPS event. I don't know if they're doing a race guns. They haven't reached out to me yet, so I don't think they are. And I think, Thomas, you've got one as well coming up
next weekend.
I don't know if you've advertised for that, but that's in the Stittsville, Ottawa area, if anyone's interested. What else is there? Getting started. So the next week's topic is basically getting started in the event. So we're about an hour and 11 minutes. So we were hoping for a half-hour show, but that's not it. But we'll try again. This is the big one, kind of outlining all, doing an overview of all the different events. So it's going to take a little bit longer. But as we start focusing on specific aspects of rimfire competition, we'll hopefully get in the 45 minute range. And next week what we'll do is we'll do a deep dive into one of the events, and then basically the gear essentials you need to get started in there. And then if you're already started and you want to move to the next level, what should you be looking at? And that's kind of our goal. And we'll go through and as I said, we'll keep going until we run out of things to talk about. And what else is there now? So what I want to do now is kind of go through some of the questions that we had. One second. So I'm going to use the technology here. So we do have a Google form where folks can post questions that they want answered. Scope types, MOA versus MIL. We're going to cover that in a gear review. Minimum gear required for each event. So we're going to cover that in each of the individual segments as we go through. So we're going to do a deep dive on the event and then talk about the gear, kind of what's allowed and available, or what's the minimum. Again, also WOMFAT's got the CRPS Basics Essential Match Gear for CRPS. So go to YouTube, check that out. There's also starting a question on 22 LR CQB, Rimfire CQB. So that's something that Barney Go is starting up this year. I think he's working with a couple of match directors to host that event. I don't have any updates yet, but I've already got my platform ready. It's going to be that GSG 16 with some red dot on it. How to practice, we're going to be covering that in the more how do you get better. There's also a Canadian University Shooting Federation webinar, right, Matt? I think it's next week on how to practice and getting better. Choosing the best ammo for your rifle. We're going to do a deep dive on getting started and how do you start from scratch and build out. So stay tuned for that episode. Practice and self-discipline. I think so. If you want to get better, the first thing I say is sign up for a Project Mapleseed event. The Project Mapleseed schedule has not been set out yet. We're still talking with ranges to try and start booking. I think we're still early in the game. We're waiting to hear. We have some confirmations from some ranges, but we haven't completed the schedule by any means, just because people's heads aren't into confirming because they're not sure where it's going to be in terms of the COVID situation. Dope and ballistics. That's a whole topic on itself, and and Matt and Kevin and John and Thomas also. Each one has their way of doing it, and we're going to try and condense it into a way that we're going to be providing along with our match rifle loaners and the mentorship. Question on, if I can only attend 1 or 2 events, CRPS for example, is there any point in terms of seasonal scores, or should I just shoot stealth? So for those that don't know, for the CRPS matches, we've actually created a new division. There's production, open, youth, and stealth. Stealth is basically an unscored, uncategorized group for those that just want to try it out, or those that are being mentored, because it's unfair to put mentored shooters in with all the regular shooters. If you just want to try it out, you don't really care where you place, shoot stealth. But with the seasonal scores, we'll take the best. John, what did we end up doing? Is it top 3 best scores out of the year?
Yes, for the leaderboard, it's the top 3 scores, and then for the report card, it's going to take every match you shoot into consideration.
Right. So if you're an open shooter, shoot open. If you're a production shooter, shoot production. If you're just trying it out and you're not sure, just shoot stealth. But really, stealth is designed for just folks that want to try it out and not end up being measured. Being measured in any of the other meddling divisions. The next one was, can you give a good breakdown of all the shooting disciplines, rules, requirements? So we're going to do a deep dive on that. Hopefully the overview we gave tonight kind of gives you a good understanding of kind of what's out there. And if you didn't understand, rewind this. That's the beauty of why we're doing this. This podcast can be played over and over and over again. I'm certainly going to use it to help myself fall asleep later this week. Race gun sniper. Sunday matches, yes, Sunday matches. So some people are saying that they work on Saturdays. So what can we do to help have Sunday matches? We're going to try and schedule more Sunday matches, certainly. Also, if there's 2-day matches and you can only shoot one of the days, reach out to us. We'll give you a break. Just come out and shoot that second day. We have guys that shoot just the first day or the second day. It doesn't matter to us. Just come out and have a good time.
I actually like the Sunday match because I know for people traveling it's a bit more difficult, but it allows us the opportunity to have a clinic the day before on the Saturday.
True. Yep. And John did one of those last year, and I think that was pretty good for the guys there. So we'd love to have more, but time is such a precious commodity to try and tie up land for 2 days. I mean, John's wife doesn't want to see him at all on the weekend, so she's happy to let him play in the yard for 2 days. So that's okay. What else? How much experience do I need, and how safe do I be to be in the sport? So the most important thing is to let us know you're a brand new shooter. We will welcome brand new shooters. You have to know the fundamentals, how to operate the platform. You can't be completely new with a scope in one hand and a rifle in the other and say, I want to shoot the match. That's probably not going to be good for anybody on your squad or for you. I think there has to be some rudimentary understanding of the basic mechanics and the basic rules of firearm safety. After that, we're more than happy to say, hey, here's how the stage breaks down. And again, our mentorship program, to say, hey, I'm brand new. I'd like to have a mentor, and we'll pair you up with somebody experienced who will walk you through all the different things, all the different stage commands, what to do, when to do, and when not to do something. We'll be more than happy. That's the whole point of the series is to get more folks into the shooting sports safely. That's our reason for being. Physical training, we'll get into that more advanced of how to get into it. So I'm actually doing yoga now just to get more flexibility and more core strength. Don't laugh, it works. I laughed at first, but I'm not anymore. Pre-competition planning, pre-stage prep checklists. So we're going to cover into that and kind of the how to get better at it and what do you need to know. So the basic essential information you need. So kind of like the CRPS basics information. What do I need to know? What else? I think that's about it. COVID restrictions. So COVID restrictions is very regionally based. Obviously, we're not going to have events if the COVID restrictions say we can't have events of a certain size. When it comes to the actual events, we will be putting in place, because we already have the squadding concept in place. So we're going to try and maintain that the squads are independently maintained as a separate bubble. So the challenge is going to be during awards and medal presentations. So it'll be the match director coming to the squad to award the person. Prizes will be, we'll worry about the prizes after, but the goal is to try and maintain the different COVID restrictions per region as and when they apply. So again, because we're a national series, everything changes provincially every week. So we'll try and stay on top of it. But obviously, we'll always have sanitizers available and masks available for those that don't have it. Last question is: I'm open to joining as a participant, presenter, as a new shooter, loaner rifle, something along the lines of "Got my pal, now what?" So we'll talk about that as a kind of a new shooter. How do you get started? Where do I start? That's a great topic for a future episode. So I think those are all the questions that we got. So if you go, so we do have a Facebook page. It's the Rimfire Nation Podcast. So just Google. Surprisingly, no one's already booked Rimfire Nation, so we got it. So rimfirenation.ca, rimfirenation.com. That'll send you the CRPS website. Sign up for notifications. Rimfire Nation Podcast page on Facebook. Post your questions, topics, anything that you want us to cover next there. What else? We are running our final preseason fundraiser. We actually have, through the donation of Cortax Solutions, a spectacularly beautiful tangent theta 3 to 15p scope, which I am lusting after. If it's okay to lust after an inanimate object, this is the one for me. It's beautiful. So we are selling our Keep Calm and Ring Steel patches. If you go to rimfireprecision.ca/shop or store, I can't remember which one, you'll see it on the homepage. It's 1 in 200 chance of winning that scope. Buy early, buy often. And we're going to be drawing on February 28th or whenever the 200 are sold. So there's still a lot of tickets left. So you stand a good chance of winning. I think it's a $5,000 scope. So it is mechanically one of the most precise scopes and optically one of the clearest out there. So I know, John, you're one of those optics guys, and you'd love to have this.
Canadian made. It would look beautiful on top of an MDT and a
Deuce.
Exactly.
Come on, so that's the ultimate build. So, and I've already got the chassis, right? So I've got the ACC in distressed Canadian flag, Cerakote from Max from Alpha Customs, MDT ACC chassis, Trigger Tech trigger. It's going to have the Ultimatum Deuce action with an IBI barrel, and all it's missing is that tangent theta scope
glass
and the inside arms muzzle brake. And we just need, and if I make the ammo myself using those copper RX rimfire, I'll be all done, right?
Oh, come on, cast your own.
Cast my own. Yeah, no, that's a recipe in disaster there. So anyway, that's anything else, gentlemen?
Just thinking about the mentorship program. There's a lot of questions about new. I would really, really recommend, if you are a newer shooter and don't have a lot of experience in other disciplines or anything like that, do not feel that you are a bother to ask for a mentor, because we'll enjoy helping you through the day, and you will enjoy it much better. Because coming from other disciplines, there's a lot of things that are new. So do not think you're a bother if you ask. We're glad to help. And also, with having a loaner rifle, you don't have to worry about the drop data. You don't have to worry about whether it's set up to work. You can just come and shoot.
Yeah, and I'd like to extend that also to the ORPS in Stittsville. If you're in the area and you're interested in those matches, I'd go as far as saying, even if you've just gotten your PAL and you don't quite know what to do, contact me ahead of time. I'll set you up with Matt. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll probably meet you at the range the day before we get through the basics. But the matches are super safe. There's always an RO right there within arm's reach of you, and there's a song to how a stage plays out. So at every step of the way, you're essentially told exactly what to do. There's nothing to worry about. It's quite easy.
That's it. Also, if you want to use your rifle and you think you've got good data, you don't have to use the match rifle loaner. You can use yours as long as we're going to ask you the basic questions of where is it zeroed? Do you have your drop data? How many are you confident that the drop is accurate? If the answer is no to any one of those, take a match loaner rifle and then stay tuned for how to. We're gonna have different episodes that cover how do I get dope? How do I get the ballistics? How do I true my trajectory? How do I know confidently before a match where my drop data is, right? That's the biggest reason why, after marksmanship skills, not having the correct drop data is what gets you. So awesome. Anything else, gentlemen? Any shout outs? Let's do shout outs. Kevin, how about you? Any shout outs? You don't have to have any, but if you do, now's a great time to do it.
I mean, my girlfriend was doing the laundry and stuff in the background. I don't know if anybody saw that, so I definitely appreciate that. No, I think I'm really looking forward to this next year. I mean, it's going to be a busy one for sure, personally and on the CRPS side of things. So I'm really curious to see where the series goes. No shout outs needed, but I'm really excited.
Cool. Awesome.
Without wanting to sound too cliche, I mean, I saw a few thank yous and praises go through the comments, and thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate this, but ultimately it's up to the shooters. So thank you guys for being there, because if it was just us talking, the reach would be very broad.
For sure. John or Matt?
I'm coming to get you, Kevin.
Oh wait, hey, where did you end up, Kevin?
Many of you do not know, Kevin and I shot neck to neck for almost the entire season, and then he started using a tripod.
And maybe that should be my shout out.
Shout out to your tripod.
Anybody who's listening right now, if you think that tripod is for cheaters and people who don't know how to shoot, well, you might be right. But if you're not using it, then you're a dinosaur at this point. So
nice.
You might as well get on the bandwagon.
Yeah. Get on it or get under it, right, Kevin?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Still no tripod in production, however, right?
So John's going to go Rimax to solve that tripod problem, right, John?
We're going to go with, I actually don't like using a tripod, so I'm not convinced I'm going to switch, but I'm still coming for him.
Well, so at the end of the year, we're going to do a little recap. Tripod versus shooter skill.
Ooh.
But that brings up the thing of where we look at the overall standings, and not to get lost in that. Kevin and I have our own personal little competition going on here. It has nothing to do with the leaderboard. It has nothing to do with where we place in the leaderboard. But where do you place in your buddy group? And just have your own competition.
Yeah, I got a big buddy group though.
Just make buddies with the low performers, and you feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, wait a minute. Is that me? Am I that guy? There we go. Yeah, if you look around, if you're the worst shooting scorer in your group, you're that guy. I think I'm that guy. Jeez, thanks, guys. John, any shout outs? No? Anyone else? No? So thanks again. So rimfireprecision.ca/events is where you'll find all that information. We do have a private Facebook group where a lot of the stuff gets rehashed and talked about. So look for what is the Canadian Rimfire Precision series on Facebook. Just ask to be approved to join. You'll have to answer some questions. That'll give you the keys to the kingdom there. What else? Talked about the fundraiser. Another shout out to Asmir and Miriam at Tesro for their fabulous support for not only this podcast, but for all the shooters and their generous donations throughout the year to provide some nice match rifles for the mentorship program. So thank you, Asmir, and for all the great service you provide us in providing ammunition to all us ammo crazy shooters. That's it. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 9. Take it easy.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
So,
Ciao.